Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to work our way through this week's TV news, because this is our weekly news video. That's what we do.
Exciting stuff.
It can be. It could be exciting, it could be boring, it could be dull. It depends. Do we have a bunch of legal dramas from CBS to talk about this week, or do we have some juicy material?
Oh, it's not that time of year yet, right?
No, it's not. We're good now. It's still kind of the light period. We're still not got a super amount. The other thing we do, of course, is at the end of the episode, we pick our favourite episode of TV of the week and give you kind of an update as to what's coming up TV review-wise, or what came out this week TV review-wise, and so on and so forth. So that's the show. That's what we do. And we'll get started. A couple of quick things. Although the first quick thing is actually an amendment with a serious, heartfelt apology. Because last week we missed something.
Yes, we did.
Took you a second to realise what I was talking about there, did it? So last week Netflix put a teaser trailer and a date for season 2 of 3%, which we actually didn't know about because we spoke about it. In fact, we found out that quite early on in the week, and then had to go and schedule all of our April to account for the fact that we had another Netflix show added into the mix.
Yeah, we saw it was quite early in the week, in our news week at least.
Because people will know that we're saying, oh, we had to schedule all of April out and May out because there's like multiple Netflix shows and there's all these other shows. It was 3%. Honestly, we still would have had to do it anyway, but 3% was the one that made us go, oh shit, we're going to have to think about this because there's lots of things happening at the same time. And then the reason why I didn't pop into the news is because when I was doing all the news the day of, it wasn't in any of my regular sources, which just kind of shows that 3% is maybe not getting the mainstream attention that it should be, and deservedly so. But so that's coming April 27th for the record. Season 2. We like season 1 quite a lot, or quite a bit. I meant to say there, not quite a lot.
Quite a lot works.
It is kind of, well, because it's either quite a bit or a lot. I feel like I just didn't decide which one I wanted to use, and I ended up with a bit of both.
I don't think there's anything wrong with quite a lot.
Sounded weird in my head. Made me pause. What can I say? So that's coming April 27th. Looking forward to it. There is a teaser trailer. There's not a whole lot in the teaser trailer. It's basically just we're going to see the offshore. If you've seen the show, you know what that means. If you haven't seen the show, then
it's what we
that's
teased
not
at
a
the end of the
spoiler.
last season, basically.
Sorry?
It's what we teased at the end of the last season, basically.
Well, yeah, I was going to avoid saying that because I didn't want people to go watching it knowing where it ends.
It's a tease. It's fine.
All right. Well,
And I never actually watched it because when we found out, I was like, oh, date announcement, because that's what they labelled it on their YouTube page. So I skipped to the end to find the date, and then forgot to go back to actually watch it.
yeah, honestly, it was just location shots. So there wasn't a whole bunch in it. It was definitely a tease. It wasn't like here's plot things happening. Yeah. It was like here's all the slums that all the poor people came from, and then here's a quick glimpse of paradise, offshore happening. See you in April 27th. That was the gist of it.
Cool.
But hey, so that was the thing. I will also briefly mention there was both trailers for the second season of Handmaid's Tale and the second season of Westworld. I didn't even watch the second season trailer for Handmaid's Tale because we had teaser trailers before that we did talk about. I didn't even watch this Handmaid's Tale one. I don't want to see anymore. I just want to let you know it's out there.
You're in. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt the same with Westworld. However, I did put the Westworld one on and not pay attention to what they were saying or the visuals. I just wanted to hear it because I heard there was a really good cover of Heart-Shaped Box, and I wanted to know what it sounded like. So I put it on for the music.
Okay, cool. I believe we saw some Shogun stuff in it from what headlines I've seen, but
Sure, yes, that
cool.
sounds right.
There was also a trailer for season 3 of The Expanse this week.
You're right, there was. Yeah, that was right at the start of the week. Again, though, I don't really need to see a trailer for season 3 of The Expanse. I already love the show.
I'm in no matter what.
Yeah.
So it's
We're good.
The point of the trailer is to sell you on it and to get you excited. I'm already excited. I'm already watching it no matter what. So yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so there was trailers, and that's 3 of the big shows we're going to be covering that are all starting in April.
That's why we're busy.
Why we're busy. So, but there's trailers for a lot of them out there now. You can go check those out and see them for yourselves. But that is that. Next up, another quick little thing. Just because we did cover the pilot back when it started, but Beyond, the Freeform show has been cancelled after 2 seasons.
What a shame.
Yeah, that was pretty terrible, so that's okay. We can live with that. That's fine. Moving on. I just wanted to mention that the Roseanne revival started this week. Had a double episode on whatever night, and It did really well. It got 18.2 million viewers.
I'm hearing lots of positive buzz saying it's the one of the better revivals.
Yeah, people seem to like it. It seems to be true to the spirit of the show. Obviously, Will and Grace was mentioned that last week or the week before. That's doing really well, and it's got a third revival season coming. So clearly, some of them are doing pretty well. It's notable that Will and Grace did really well as well, but that was at 10.2 million, which was fantastic for that show. But 18.2, that actually puts it up with. I mean, that's actually 1 million more than the premiere of Young Sheldon, just to compare it to something that is successful. So there you go. That's
pretty damn good.
That's yeah. So that's pretty good. We mentioned we weren't fans. I do know that Roseanne Barr, who obviously plays Roseanne in the show, she's like a huge Trump supporter and occasionally has a lot of really weird right-wing ideas. And Trump was, just a few hours ago, I saw that Trump was praising the show. Look at the ratings, it's doing great. It's like, they're like BFFs. It's upsetting.
Yeah.
Anything that gives him a reason to boast is upsetting.
I was probably never going to watch it anyway because I just don't care about it.
Oh yeah,
I've never seen enough of it to think it's bad. I just don't care.
I have no attachment to it, but a lot of people do. A lot of people do have attachment to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to mention that unfortunate side effect that Trump is happy about something, because that's never good. So let's move on. So we got a little bit of bubble talk this week.
It's that time of year.
Deadline had a report, and I pulled out the key things we care about, which is basically all the superhero shows, and that's about it.
Yeah, pretty much.
The only other thing that I caught is that Exorcist is definitely not, well, it's not definite. They've not actually announced that it's cancelled yet, but
it's pretty certain. Yeah.
No one's expecting it to come back. They gave it a second chance. It didn't work. Shame, because obviously it was pretty good, but that's what it is. That's what it is. So first of all, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Very interesting one, this, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like, end of season 4 we were worried, and then it got renewed, and we heard after the fact, it was probably going to get cancelled, but
it's
Disney...
been on the bubble for a couple of seasons.
Disney stepped in and said, no, we want it back for another season, so they kind of went with it, and we were happy with that, because it gives it its 5th season, which is a really good season to sort of round out, nice round numbers 5. They have 5 seasons. Let them know it's the ending. We know they're writing the finales, so it could be the ending.
And if you've been watching the show, you'll know that it's playing like an ending even now.
It's kind of a greatest hits. Let's look back at like everything we've went through, kind of thing. It feels very like a culmination of the whole thing. It really does feel like that. But so it's saying it's on the bubble, and it could go either way. So the report here is saying that it's actually kind of in the 50-50 territory.
Yeah, I just interested. This is a different. I can't remember the name of the place, but it was one that I saw last week, and last year they got like 26 out of 28 of their predictions correct, and they're predicting Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will come back for a 6th.
You interrupted me. I had a whole paragraph to read, and you jumped in before I read the rest.
Right, fine. I didn't realize you had a whole paragraph on each show.
Well, not on each show, but this has a whole thing about how, Inhumans was underwhelming, so if they want a Marvel show, they'll have to keep it, and despite the low ratings, it's actually quite strong DVR numbers and streaming after the fact.
Inhumans is dead, right? That's
gone. Yeah, there's no chance of that coming back.
Oh, good.
So there you go. Also, I think ABC Studios. Actually, part of the reason why I think Disney like it is because it's a place to advertise all their Marvel stuff on a regular basis. So that might also, again, lead to them saying, hey, keep this show because we like being able to advertise on it.
Makes sense.
And yeah, so I mean, obviously, I'll be okay. 5 seasons is enough, I think, but I will not complain at all if we get a 6th season of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No, I'll be fine if it is 5. I was concerned with 4 because, 4 is still a decent number, but when it was clearly setting up for a cliffhanger, you knew it wasn't going to be a neat ending at the end of that season.
Absolutely, yeah.
Whereas here, I'm like, okay, if this is the end, it's fine.
Yeah, and I almost hope they try something a little bit different next season if they do go sort of past their original sort of end point, if you will.
Yeah, you really got to shake it up. I mean, it's not like it's new for shows to go past their original end ideas, but
yeah, and not necessarily to say that they've always been working towards this as the ending, just in the sense that I feel like if they're writing the finale to be the ending, potentially, and then they get another season, I would hope they take it as a chance to evolve a little bit and just do something a little bit different.
And it's fair to say Shield has been very good at each season bringing completely new ideas to the table. The team has evolved a lot over the years.
Oh, yeah.
So it'd be a nice excuse to shake it up a bit more drastically, perhaps.
But hey, so that's that. Of course, we care about the CW stuff, all our DC shows. The quick version is that CW will lately renew all of its returning series on its fall schedule, and that includes the 4 DC shows. It also includes Supernatural, which would mean that'd get a 14th season. Riverdale is likely to get a season 3, and yeah, and it also mentions Jane the Virgin, and for what could be the series' final season. I think that's because they're expecting. Because it's funny actually. I've already made the movie news, and the star Rodriguez, her name is, I can't remember her first name, Gina Rodriguez, I think, who's on that show. She's in 2 movie news stories this week. So I feel like that may be reaching its end point, just because she's going to go be a star. So it's time to
it's one of those jobs.
Wrap up. I say that having never seen the show though, so I'm just kind of broad speculation from a distance.
I mean, this doesn't surprise me. CW loves to renew stuff.
Oh, they do. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend also expected to renew. On top of that, in terms of the mid-season stuff, Black Lightning looks like a sure bet for renewal. So that's all 5 DC shows seemingly coming back.
Good. Well, I said good.
Yeah,
Arrow's still there.
4 out of 5 is good. More interestingly, Valor is not expected to come back. That never get a back end order. That just ended after it's 13 and never get any more.
Is that the soldiery one?
The soldiery one, yes.
Yeah.
And then Dynasty, which is still underperforming to an extent, did get a full season order and is still likely to get a season 2.
Okay.
Even though it's still kind of soft. But they moved it to Friday night, which is lower traffic anyway, so maybe they're just kind of happy with what it's doing on Friday night, because that's low anyway.
Yeah, that's true. And I think they got a bit more leeway coming up next year. They're doing the summer. They've got the Sunday nights.
Got Sunday nights, yeah. Another one we care about, even though we don't cover it in the channel anymore, but another one we do care about is iZombie. It's kind of in the middle of the pack, and it's got an established fan base. So it's actually that the listing that one is actually more on the bubble. So that could go either way. Obviously, I hope it does keep going. Even though I'm still midway through season 3, I will happily binge that at some point. Probably when it's finished at this point.
Yeah, probably. It's one of those that's always been like first season was strong, and then they gave season 2, the extended order, and then for 3 they went, okay, let's take it back down
mid-season, and then same again with 4. But they brought it back twice after that. So
they did.
Like I said earlier with Shield, though, 5's a nice round number if they want to give it one more season, just to say, okay, have one more 13-episode season, Thomas, and finish your story, wrap it up with whatever you're going to do. I think that'd be cool. But I do love that show though, so it's
very good.
So hopefully that comes back. Life Sentence is another show. It's a new show they've got for mid-season. Is on the bubble as well. I don't actually know what that is. I don't think. So.
I don't remember ever hearing it. I know we must have spoke about it because we speak about all of them. But
yep.
It rings no bell whatsoever.
Wasn't memorable seemingly then. But there you go. So that was just of the network stuff that we cover and or care about. That was the stuff that was in the report. So moving on, we have a couple of negative stories, unfortunately, here.
Oh.
So first up, for the second time in a row, a Lock and Key pilot is not being picked up. This is now twice this has happened where they've made a pilot and it's now Hulu have decided not to pick it up. Of course, this is based on the Joe Hill comic book. Carlton Cuse is the one sort of developing the show, IDW Entertainment. So the Lock and Key, along with another show called Crash and Burn, were the last remaining hour-long pilots that Hulu did. Hulu seems to be switching more to just straight-to-series orders, kind of like other streaming services and network, rather than making pilots. Although they did still mention here that they still think they're going to be kind of variable. They'll do pilots for some stuff, but not others, which is, I mean, okay.
Pilots if they're not sure, basically.
Yeah. The last Hulu pilot that actually got picked up for series was Runaways, funnily enough, which we did cover, and was pretty decent. So here's what's funny though: the passing the pilot came after the creative team had been given a blinking green light, they're calling this, which basically means they were given a writer's room, they produced 6 or 7 scripts, and they even started building sets. Everyone was ready to go. And then even after all that prep, even after they spent all money like paying the writers to write more scripts and build sets, they still decided to pass on it, which is curious to me.
Yeah, that's pretty uncommon.
Like, what about it turned them off, even though they'd already invested X amount of money into it? I'm curious about that. But the pilot has been shopped around, according to Samantha Mathis, who revealed in a recent interview that Lock and Key was not picked up by Hulu. It's getting shopped around to Amazon and Netflix and Apple and everyone right now. However, no prospective buyer is believed to be currently in negotiations about picking up the show, but there have been discussions. So those that are trying to like shop it around, and maybe the fact that it comes with like 7 completed scripts and some sets already built might help them.
It's less to pay for that, isn't it? It's like, well, you've got it already. It's ready to go.
That said,
a bit quicker.
That said, whenever they say they're shopping something around, I always err on the side of it's probably not happening.
Yeah.
It's great when it does, but I always err on the side of it's probably not happening.
Agreed. It typically doesn't. It occasionally does, but they're the exceptions.
It's a shame because I've not got around to reading the book beyond the first issue, but I've heard great things. I've been looking forward to it. I like the first issue.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm not super disappointed because as much as I've heard good things, and I've never read it, I have no attachment to it. So it's like yeah, it probably could have been good. Could have been a great show, but ultimately it doesn't hit me as in the way it'll hit a lot of people.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's a sad irony, though, that it's now twice this has happened. Especially since I believe when they screened the original pilot at a Comic-Con of some kind, I don't know which Comic-Con it was, may have been SDCC, I don't know. But I believe that the response was positive for the first one. Like, people liked that pilot who saw it, so...
Yeah, fair enough.
It's a shame. It's a shame that that has to happen.
That's TV for you.
Speaking of things that fell through, though, the animated Deadpool show, the FXX ordered, with Donald Glover showrunning and writing, all of a sudden now is not happening. Earlier this week, like that would fell through. Some articles did mention creative differences, but I think some of them didn't, though, because the more juicier part of this news...
It's because the original stories, when this very first ran came out, was the reports were saying it's because Donald Glover's too busy.
Which is funny, because I never saw that. Even when I saw it the day these stories came out, it had already changed to there's some creative differences.
Oh, really? I saw it when it was, oh, no, he's too busy. They were like, oh, yeah, no, he's been doing his Star Wars stuff. He's got Atlanta. He's like, no, he can't take it on right now.
But, yeah, so he put a tweet, for the record, you know, I'm not too busy to work on Deadpool. And he actually put out screenshots of a 15-page script, which... may have, like, given... I didn't read the whole thing. I didn't have time to read the whole thing.
Bits, yeah.
But I saw some highlights that some of the articles pointed out. And it was full of, like, meta-references to things. And, of course, Deadpool has that anyway, but they were so vindictive towards Marvel that I kind of feel like he actually sat and wrote this.
Yeah, this I think the script was titled as the season finale.
Right, okay.
And but it's all as if... It's written as if, okay, he already knows this is cancelled, but he's writing it anyway.
Yeah, there was full of things. He basically accused them of being kind of racist, because he's kind of speculating that part of the reason why Marvel didn't want it is because it was mostly black writers. All the humor was very black. It was very black focused, and they didn't want that. And he said various other things. There was a lot of accusations, and I don't know which ones have merit. Maybe they all have merit.
Yeah, we'll probably never know. Is the reality?
We'll probably never know. But I think the key thing to take it from this is that he is salty as hell about this.
He is really bitter. He clearly was into this project.
Yeah.
He has put a lot of time. This, by the look of it, he has put time into this after it's been cancelled. You don't do that unless you give a shit.
Yeah, he is clearly pissed. And sadly, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Marvel were just being like, oh, we wanted something that appealed to everyone, and this feels, you know...
The reality is that's plausible, which is sad. It's not definitely what happened, but if it is, I don't find that hard to believe either. Is the problem?
Yeah. So hey, they hired Donald Glover to write something, and they got something that felt like it was written by Donald Glover. What a shock!
It's basically like they went, "Hey, so you did Atlanta because obviously that was his big, when he was hired, that's his big hit show, and people love that for what it is. I quite liked what I've seen of it."
And it's worth mentioning.
They got something similar.
It is worth mentioning the salt seems to be directed at Marvel, not FX. Because he's still working with FX on Atlanta. He's still doing that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and I wonder if that means that his small character in Spider-Man might not reappear because he's not too pleased with Marvel now, seemingly.
Yeah.
But hey, so obviously that was worth mentioning. Yeah, yeah. Apparently the script was about Deadpool trying to save the last White Rhino, which sadly actually coincides with the real story
like a week
this
or
week.
two ago,
Yeah,
right?
I think it was this week.
Was it? Oh
Yeah.
man.
Oh no, it says died last week, so I think it was last week. But yeah, so obviously it's very topical, and that almost makes me even think that did he just write this from scratch? Like
Maybe.
I
would like to say, just for clarification, it was the last male White Rhino. So there's still some females. They've still got some sperm on ice. So hope's not over yet. The species
hope.
continuation. I'm just saying.
There's hope. See, now I'm just thinking about them jacking off this rhino for every day for like a year just to make sure they got some sperm.
They probably did.
Just praying that he's not firing blanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah.
No, this sucks because I know.
Honestly, all this salty comment. I'm just reading some of the other ones. They're all really damning. He's being really sarcastic. He's really calling them out because he's like, I bet all the writers room. I bet they all overspent their lunch budget on Jamaican food at least once a week. I'm like, he is being salty.
Yeah. I like Deadpool well enough, but I really like Donald Glover's comedy.
Oh yeah, so, I was more interested in this because it was Donald Glover rather than because it was Deadpool.
Yeah, but I was really excited to see what he does with the Deadpool style, and because it is very okay. Let's make jokes at people. Let's be very self-aware and referential. And I was looking forward to
that. Not happening now. Seemingly blame Marvel if the salt in those script pages is anything to go by.
A bunch of hits.
Anyway, so let's move on. So Apple, we know they've announced countless shows. Yep. Way over a dozen at this point, I think. I mean, I've not been keeping track, but it seems like every other week we've got another Apple show they've greenlit straight to series. Multiple dramas, multiple comedies. I think there's at least one animated show in there. Big slate, big stuff, amazing stories from the Spielberg stuff, the anthology one, other things. There was like 3 Reese Witherspoon produced projects, tons of stuff. But we still don't have a service. What's the service that it's launching on? What's happening with this stuff? When are they coming? We've announced all these shows. So, this is not a lot, but the company is looking to debut its original series sometime next year, as soon as March 2019 or sometime into the summer. So spring-summer 2019. We've got a window. Okay. Right? And given they've greenlit so much, they could really come out the gate swinging with like multiple shows.
They could.
They really could, if they really get things going.
I do think it's interesting that we hear about this the same week they're talking about the future of iTunes. It seems like Apple's really reevaluating its future direction.
That's originally came from a New York Times report. I didn't get it from them, but that's where the original information came from. But it is worth mentioning, and obviously we've been speculating this, but they say the tech giant is still keeping its cards close to its vest on exactly how the Apple originals will be distributed. Industry execs expect Apple to adopt some kind of subscription model similar to Netflix or HBO. So that is the expectation, is that they'll have their own service.
Here's the thing. iTunes, the news this week is, okay, yeah, there's going to be a point in the future where we're not putting up music for people to download on iTunes because they're shifting to the subscription of Apple Music. They're compared to Spotify, which is getting huge. It's expected to take over Spotify by the end of the year. So I can see a companion, like an Apple TV service to go alongside that, like an Apple Video.
Yeah. But obviously, I mean, we've spoken about this in the past. I think it would be suicide to limit it to Apple devices. I think they'll want something where they can put an app out on consoles and smart TVs. And
yeah, I think even Apple Music isn't limited to just Apple devices.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Because iTunes isn't. Like, iTunes has always been usable on everything.
I think Apple Music, you can get it on Android now as well. So
yeah. So that makes a lot of sense. That's kind of what I expect. I'm expecting $10 or $8 maybe a month.
Yeah, and I can see they'll do the combo package where if you buy, the music and the video, you get a cheaper price.
Which honestly might be slightly tempting. If I have to get a TV package and it's like, well, I don't have Spotify right now or whatever, it'll be tempting to just get the Apple one thrown in.
Maybe that's a way to entice people away from Spotify as well. Like, hey, if you
Yeah.
get both of our services, you can get it
Yeah,
cheaper.
like they're $10 each, but maybe it'll be 15 for both if you want to save. Yeah. No, it'd be a smart move to play.
And
Uh,
as much as I have a dislike of Apple, they have amazing business sense. So yeah,
yeah, yeah.
credit where it's due, unfortunately.
But they can take their phones without headphone jacks and shove them straight up their ass, quite frankly.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, 3.5 will never die. And I hate wireless earphones. Like, just, I hate having to charge anything. There's too many things in my life that I already have to charge. Anything that I have the option of not having to charge that I can just connect with a cable, I'm picking the cable.
I have a pair of wireless headphones. They're not as good. They're what I use as my spare pair, essentially, for when I'm out and about.
Okay.
Because these ones that I'm wearing right now are rather expensive, and I'm not taking them out on the bus. So these
Sure,
are
sure.
you know, just a cheaper pair for out and about. But do you know what the real problem with wireless headphones is?
Mm-hmm.
Transmitter noise.
Uh,
Pisses me off.
I just... Nah. Like, I have to charge a phone, I have to charge a tablet. You know,
I have to charge my watch.
yeah, see, that was the thing. See, when they were bringing out smartwatches, and I went, no, go away. I don't want to have to charge another thing. Two's enough.
To be fair, I think I charge my watch like once a week. I just, when I'm going to sleep, I'll stick it on charge once a week, and that's it.
I'm being a grumpy old man right now, but it really
You
just,
are a bit, and given that you're quite into technology,
I am.
It's amusing how
resistant
you get.
I am okay. Cables are just more reliable. Wired internet is better than Wi-Fi. Always, I would never accept not having my cable wired to my computer. Never.
That's fair. I can only wire so many devices. Like I wire my PC and my PS4 because my current router only has 2 ports. So like my TV has to be connected through Wi-Fi, and that annoys me.
Yeah, I know. I've got 4 ports. So I'm good.
Well, I was thinking my old router had 4 ports, but it died, and I had to, and the one that I got as a replacement only has 2. I was like, eh.
The point I'm making though, wired is more reliable, and I like it, and I don't have to charge shit for it, which is my favorite thing.
Until the cables break, and then you either have to replace the cable, solder it back together, or just
buy a new thing. That's fine. I accept that's always going to happen eventually, but it's more reliable while it's being used.
As long as you treat it well, yeah.
Anyway, so you found out a pet peeve of mine. I hate charging shit.
Yeah, This is funny because I've heard this before. You hate wireless with a passion, like more than anyone I know.
I just like I'm someone who'll happily just buy a longer USB cord for my PS4 controller just so I don't have to worry about charging it every so often.
I bought a wall plug that because I've got an extension cable by my feet anyway for charging my phone and stuff when I'm out in that room. So I just bought a wall plug for one of those to stick it in there. I never plug my controller into the PS4. It's just there.
Yeah. I don't know. It's one of these weird things with tech where they're obsessed with making it sleeker and sleeker and being more and more wireless, and I'm like, I just don't get too much effort. Focus on making it better in other ways that will actually be useful.
You know, I think that bothers me most. It depends on the battery life because, my watch, I charge it once a week. That's fine. My PS4 controller lasts about 8 hours, and that pisses me off. So it's basically always plugged in now.
Yeah. Anyway, end of rambles about.
Yeah, we'll get back to some
charging
TV stuff now.
Anyway, Apple launching their service of some kind, whatever it may be, whatever model it may have, sometime spring or summer 2019. I always assume these things will be later, so I'll assume summer.
Yeah, but you never know with Apple.
You never do. All right, next up. So we actually have some shows now. We're talking about new shows.
Cool.
Comedies to begin with, as per usual. So Super Deluxe is teaming with the writers and producers at Stan Zimmerman and James Berg to develop a comedy series called Silver Foxes. The half-hour single-camera series is about 2 older gay men and 1 twink, their buddy's younger lover. I was not familiar with the expression twink before I read
learned
this.
it in Always Sunny.
Oh, really? Okay. I've either not seen that episode yet, or I've forgotten it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, they rescue a friend who's been forced back in the closet at his homophobic assisted living facility. Can I just stop this right now before I finish the rest of this? I actually love the idea that there's a old folks home where, like, someone is out of the closet, they're all happy and, like, gay as they can be, and then they go into the whole folks home, and then they have to deal with the fact that all these old bastards are all homophobic.
Yep.
I think there's comedy potential there right off the
I
bat.
agree. Yep.
After they bring him back to their mid-century Palm Springs house, the foursome create a fabulous family of friends. So it doesn't look sound like they're going to stay there, admittedly, which is a shame, because I feel like that's where most of the comedy potential is. So you get three really old gay dudes and a younger gay man. That's the sell for this.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, could be funny. I've not been into a lot of comedies that when you have comedies with older people. I typically find them not as funny for whatever reason. I feel like they tend to skew at an older audience.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there's potential there. Admittedly, the part I like the most is the idea of them, like,
the old folks' home.
The old folks' home, and they're all homophobic.
That's just episode 1 though.
Yeah, I actually like that.
By the end of the first episode,
them dealing with that. I almost wish it was just the three old guys, but in the old folks' home. But then they have to deal with the fact.
You can have the young guy come and visit.
And oh man, and one of the other old people like catches them doing something, and they freak out, and that's the plot of like episode 4. Oh my god, this show's an amazing idea. Do it, someone.
Yeah, why are we doing this version? They had the idea and they went, nah, let's just turn it into a family comedy.
Yeah,
because that's what essentially it's become at the end. They're like, oh, they create a family of friends. It's like, okay, so it's going to be a family sitcom, basically.
Kinda, yeah. They're all old people, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all but one. Alright, so moving on. Stars have ordered a comedy series called Now Apocalypse. As opposed to Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, they're getting around what they can, aren't they?
Yeah, very, very good. The half-hour comedy will be created and executive produced by Greg Araki, with Steven Soderbergh's also set to executive produce. The series is described as a surreal coming-of-age comedy that follows Ulysses and his friends Carly, Ford, and Severn.
What a collection of names!
I know, like Carly's the most common one. I mean, Ford is a surname, sure, but like, yeah.
I've heard it as a name, I've heard his name on occasion, but it's still on the rarer side. But what was the other one?
Sorry?
What was the third one?
Severn.
Yeah, no, that's not a name.
No, I've actually heard Severn before, but regardless,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, so who are on various quests pursuing love, sex, and fame in Los Angeles. Between sexual romantic dating app adventures, Ulysses grows increasingly troubled as foreboding premonitory dreams make him wonder if some kind of dark and monstrous conspiracy is going on, or is he just smoking too much weed. This doesn't really appeal to me all that much.
No, especially when you get to the end of the Spoon to which we was like, okay, so it's going to do stoner comedy stuff.
Yeah, which just instantly kind of doesn't.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's not my type of thing.
And barring that, it just sounds like a bunch of young people in LA.
Yeah, I bet they're all awful.
They probably are.
I bet I'm supposed to like them, but I just hate them all.
Yeah. This is more of a critique of young people specifically than it is LA people, by the way, just for the record.
It is, but I don't think the LA thing helps.
Well, that's because it's not young people in LA, it's young people who have moved to LA.
Right, that's why I said it doesn't help, because it tells me exactly what sort of young people they are.
Exactly. So, anyway, so let's move on. Like Tim moved to LA. He's awful.
What a dick.
So, let's move on. So, we're on to the hour-longs, the dramas and stuff. Well, we had one extra story to record after the fact and slot in at some point, wherever this slotted in. Whenever I decided in the edit later on, that's where this went. But, yeah, that's something that Connor brought up. We went looking for it. He thought it was a movie thing, but this article that I found was specifically saying TV, so that's why we're inserting it in here.
To be fair, I just skimmed the article earlier in the week, misremembering clearly.
So, yeah, so this is the first I'm looking at. What site am I on here? I'm on The Independent. That's where I'm reading this from. So Amazon seems determined to have a Game of Thrones size success of its own, and they have reportedly spent $1 billion for the rights to a book series from China called The Three Body Problem. That's obviously, we've already heard that they're going to cost up to $500 million to make this Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings show. Freudian slip. Freudian slip there.
Yes, I'm sure.
But yeah, So yeah, so they've paid $1 billion for this, and that's before they even start making it. This is just $1 billion for the rights.
I don't think they've actually officially got the rights yet. This is all just okay. No, this is the talk of the
Sure,
talks are ongoing.
Yeah, it's in talks. Yeah, you're right. It's in talks to adapt it. It's a critically acclaimed novel, The Three Body Problem. It's written by Lou Cixin. I'll say that. I'm trying to think what that sounds like with what the Mandarin pronunciation would that be? It's Cixin.
Yeah.
Cixin, or yeah, because I think it's that. I think it's more like Cixin, when I say that, it sounds like I'm saying cheese in.
More of a sh than a ch, maybe.
Yeah. Shizen. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that sounds kind of right, yeah. Lou Shizen. Yeah. Anyway, so, best-selling book is about aliens preparing to invade Earth. Obama cited the 3-volume book when asked what he reads to get out of his head, describing it as just wildly imaginative, really interesting. The scope of it was so immense. So, Obama has approved of this.
Yeah.
Yes. Look at that. We referenced
We're
Trump.
all back around, didn't we?
We referenced Trump earlier, now we referenced Obama. The much better of the two, just for the record.
Yeah. But I don't know. This sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, we got a description here. Full synopsis follows. 1967, the Yi Wenyi witness Red Guards beat her father to death during China's Cultural Revolution. This singular event will shape not only the rest of her life, but also the future of mankind. 4 decades later, Beijing police ask nanotech engineer Wang Mao to infiltrate a secretive cabal of scientists after a spate of inexplicable suicides. Wang's investigation will lead him to a mysterious online game and immerse him in a virtual world ruled by the intraceable and unpredictable interaction of 3 suns. This is the 3-body problem, and it is the key to everything. The key to the scientist's death, the key to the conspiracy that spans light years, and the key to the extinction level threat humanity now faces. Do you know what's funny? At first I was like, okay, this is just a simple little mystery investigation thing, and then it got to the end, and it was like, extinction level event, virtual reality world, like, I'm like, okay, this is full on sci-fi nutso world. I'm in.
Yeah.
And
if simple. Amazon spends even close to that on just the rights, they're going to do it properly, right?
Oh yeah, if they're spending $1 billion on the rights, they're not going to cheap out in the show itself.
Because 3 books, so I'm assuming 3 seasons, right? Give or take.
Or it depends. I mean, if they think they can get 2 seasons out of a book, I could see it being 6.
They could, but usually that's a typical rule to apply, at least at the start of a show. Not always, of course.
Because I'm just thinking, obviously we mentioned The Expanse, or we're going to mention that towards the end of the show when we're talking about what's coming up in the next month. We meant that show specifically, like its first book ended halfway through season 2. So they had a season and a half out of the first book. So it's not unprecedented that you can.
No, it's not.
It could be a bit longer than that, but yeah, who knows? I like the sound of it. I like the image that the articles got from the book.
The pyramid.
The big pyramid thing. It's blue.
Yeah.
I'm all for more sci-fi TV content. You know this. Everyone
Absolutely.
knows this about me, so I'm okay with this idea.
Yeah, and hey, if Amazon want to really get into this game and spend some real money on stuff, this is how you get my attention.
So yeah, approved by Obama.
Therefore approved by us.
I actually have no idea what Obama's taste in things is like. I mean, that could mean anything.
No, that's fair. I watched him on the Netflix thing. I can't remember the interview show that they've got going on.
Letterman.
My Next Guest Is, I think it was called.
No, My Next Guest needs no introduction.
All right, whatever.
That's his phrase. That's what you used to always say on a Late Show, Tonight Show, whatever one he had.
Yeah, can you tell we don't follow him that much?
I've actually seen a fair bit of him, just because
I've seen bits and pieces.
I've seen more of Letterman's old stuff than I have of any of the other ones, I think.
That's fair.
Unless we're not including John Oliver, because I actually liked Last Week Tonight, and I actually haven't watched a lot of the last season. I really should.
It's good. It's been good.
Dive into it and get. I watched the first couple, back, and then I kind of forgot about it. So now I've got a binge of John Oliver to have at some point. But
it's been good. But on that, Obama was I think the first episode.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good. It did kind of spell a lot about him as a person rather than his career. So more interesting in that sense.
That's cool. So yeah, there you go. So that was a headline worthy. This will probably be slotted in either first or after the Frank Miller story.
Yeah.
So
if I'm talking later about Amazon spending $1 billion on something, that's this.
Yeah, but he said it was a movie, so he implied it would have that in the movie show.
Look, I skim read it like a few days ago, and I forgot.
Do you know what I love about it? So again, we're telling you what's going to happen at the end of this show. At the end of this show, when Connor mentions, there's a movie thing this week, Amazon spending $1 billion, and I looked really confused, and I couldn't remember anything. He got all smug and went, oh, that's something that I've forced into that show as well as it. And even though I missed this, right, which is a fair complaint to make, he doesn't get to gloat about that, because he was a smug prick and thought I'd missed something in the movie news. But it turns out I didn't miss anything in the movie news, because it was TV news.
I don't care, I'm being a smug prick now. You missed it here, it still counts.
Also, I love the idea that we can tell you how this ends just because we've came back and recorded this later. So we're like, there's all this stuff coming at the end of the show.
Oh, we should do this more often.
Back to your regularly scheduled news. So Netflix have given a series order to an adaptation of Frank Miller and Tom Wheeler's upcoming novel, Cursed. So a big deal because of the names. Obviously, the book's not out until fall of 2019. So this is very premature.
It could hit around the same time.
They very well could be. The series is described as a reimagining of the Arthurian legend, told through the eyes of Nimue. Or is it Nimue?
I think it's Nimue.
Nimue. A teenage heroine with a mysterious gift who is destined to become the Lady of the Lake. After her mother's death, she finds an unexpected partner in Arthur, a young mercenary, in a quest to find Merlin and deliver an ancient sword. Over the course of her journey, Nimue will become a symbol of courage and rebellion against the terrifying Red Paladins and their complicit King Uther.
I am 100% down for this. I'm a sucker for Arthurian tales. I can't help myself.
I'm neither here nor there with them.
How you feeling about this one in particular?
It sounds fine. There's nothing about it that puts me off. I mean,
I'm intrigued to see because obviously Frank Miller's involved. I think he's a bit on the crazy end, but
here I've got a little bit of information here. So Wheeler and Miller are set up as co-creators and executive producers. Wheeler will write the companion book, with Miller providing the illustrations. So I don't know, Wheeler might be more of the writing side.
Yeah, and even Miller's art these days is not its best, but I think his design work is pretty great.
Well, that's the thing. We don't ever have to read the book. We can just watch the show.
Exactly. But I'm intrigued to see if they take some of his designs and what they look like in live action, because I do think he's a good designer of outfits and stuff like that.
It is a 10-episode series order they've got. So 10 episode season 1. So that's the thing. It's called Cursed. I don't know if I mentioned that at the start.
Yeah, you did. I think it's interesting they're referring to the book as a companion book.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting rather than adapting it from the novel. It's this is a companion that will be maybe put out alongside it.
Well, the start does say it's adapting it, so they've used both phrases. I think, that maybe just implies that they are sort of aiming for it to hit around the same time, if nothing else. Yeah. But hey,
perfectly feasible.
Yeah, I'm neither excited or not excited about Arthur stuff. If it looks bad, it looks bad. That last King Arthur movie that came out, I thought looked atrocious. I avoided it like the plague.
Shockingly fun.
No, it wasn't. Shut up.
Oh, honestly, it was. I had a blast with that movie.
Nah, it looked terrible.
It's not a particularly good movie, but it's fun.
Nah. For this to work for me, it has to actually be good.
Oh, obviously, I want it to be good.
Yeah, but you just said that you had fun with something that wasn't good because you like King Arthur
but that
much.
Was schlocky fun though. But it wasn't necessarily fun because of the King Arthur elements.
Okay, so I don't know. I don't really feel anything one way or the other. We'll see. When it hits, and we'll try it, and we'll maybe love it, maybe hate it, and we'll see. But hey, so Netflix are getting a King Arthur story. So next up, Amazon Studios have greenlit Cortez, a 4-hour miniseries based on the epic saga of Hernan Cortez, starring Javier Bardem, of course the Oscar winner from No Country for Old Men, Mother last year, so you've seen him around. You also have it coming from Steven Spielberg and Amblin Television, he's producing through them, and you've got Steven Zillian, who wrote Schindler's List, working on the script. It's actually based on a 50-year-old script by blacklisted writer Dalton Trumbo. So,
Okay.
yeah, so we got all these names that they're mentioning. Cortez reveals the legendary conqueror Hernan Cortez, who led a rebellious expedition into the heart of the Montezemia, the Second Aztec Empire. I probably butchered that name. But anyway, so connecting two civilizations for the first time and changing the course of history. So it's an Aztec show.
I'm down.
If they put a lot of money in this could be a really big, like, here's 4 episodes of something that looks ridiculously high budget.
Given that Amazon are putting a lot of money into a lot of things, so I think there's something in the movie news this week that they're paying a lot for. So, and we talked about their budget for the Lord of the Rings show recently. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do chuck some cash into this.
Yeah, and I remember you shoehorning it into the news when it wasn't on my schedule. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think by the look on your face, I've just shoehorned something into the movie news as well.
Potentially, I can't remember anything, but we'll find out. And I'll cut this so that it looks like I've just added it in, and I know that it was there the whole time. During the movie news. So, what was I going to say? Yeah, I mean, I like Apocalypto quite a bit. Again, this is like the last one. This doesn't inherently interest me or disinterest me. It's just kind of is, and if it's good, then it could be very pretty. And
what has a bit more going for it compared to the last one, whereas I'm into it because it's King Arthur stuff. This one has actual talent attached. There are actually names attached that I go, okay, I recognise they've done actual good work. That
saying Frank Miller's not a name?
I mean, not in TV.
Yeah. So we get an Aztec 4. Well, it says 4-hour miniseries. I assume that means 4 parts. I mean, they could swerve us and say 2-hour parts, but
it's not a miniseries in just 2 episodes, is it?
Yeah. I've seen miniseries be 2 episodes.
Yeah, but at that point, it's basically just 2 TV movies.
Battlestar Galactica started with a miniseries that was 2 90-minute episodes.
That's just 2 TV movies. Sorry.
Well, here's the funny thing, though. When you watch it now on the Blu-ray or whatever, it's actually just one big episode that's 3 hours long. So it actually feels like a 3-hour epic movie pilot to intro the entire show. It's great.
That sounds about right.
And the best thing about it that I loved with the finale is that it was like a double episode when they aired it, but on the Blu-ray it's like an extended director's cut of the finale, which bumps it up to almost 3 hours as well. So the entire show's bookended with 2 like 3-hour epics to start and end it.
That's pretty cool.
It's awesome. It's good stuff. Notice how I've brought up a show that I know I'm enthusiastic about, just to like get me out of this mundane of so it could be fine, it could be good. So that's the thing. It exists, or it will exist. Next up, Sollywood.
What the hell was that?
Sony is heading to Nollywood.
Right. Okay.
I said Sollywood.
Oh, it's going to be a long night.
Oh, it is. Sony's headed to Nollywood to develop a Black Panther style series. By the way, I'd never heard the phrase Nollywood before. This is a new thing to me. Never heard of it. It seems to be African cinema.
Okay, cool.
So they're developing a Black Panther style series about a group of female warriors. They've struck a deal. It's going to be a co-production with an African broadcaster to go by the name Ebony Life. So this is going to be an African original co-production. Are we shocked that something that is inspired by the success of Black Panther is in production somewhere?
Absolutely not. This is
no.
Yeah, this is the last 5 years have been everyone trying to do their Game of Thrones, right? Now it's okay, everyone, give us a Black Panther.
This could be both. This could be Black Panther, Game of Thrones.
Hey, I'm down for that.
It could be that. So they're going to develop. They're actually going to develop 3 different scripted shows with Ebony Life. They're going to co-produce 3 things. We don't know what the other 2 are yet, though. This is the first one they're saying we're doing this. They've not got a title, but it's going to be based around or inspired by the Dahomey Warriors. The Warriors, also known as the Dahomey Amazons, are thought to be the only all-female frontline military unit in modern history. A combat force of musket-slinging, machete-wielding women feared across Western Africa for over 200 years from the 17th century. Starting out as a small team to bring down elephants and hunt while their husbands were at war, they eventually became a personal bodyguard unit to local kings. The group were thought to be the inspiration for the characters in Black Panther. Not as a result of the movie, just in general, the comics, like I assume.
Yeah, that's cool. I've never heard of them, but hey, sounds like a really great concept for a show.
and they're going to start developing immediately. And the 2 other shows, they'll work on them.
Of course they want to do it immediately. Let's rush this out while Black Panther's hot.
What I think's interesting though is that I don't think I've ever seen an African-produced TV show before.
I am almost certain I haven't.
Yeah, so this could be really unique and different.
I mean, let's be honest. It's only the last couple of years we've really been seeing much foreign TV at all.
Yeah. Obviously, Netflix and Amazon have kind of opened the floodgates when it comes to those. So no, that's really cool. Yeah, so here's something that's good.
Yeah, definitely.
If it does end up feeling like Game of Thrones, I may not like it because I don't like Game of Thrones. But
it doesn't sound super Game of Thronesy though from the description.
No, interesting. So next up and last on the news this week, Playground Entertainment has won the film and TV rights to the best-selling novel The Mermaid and Mrs. Hancock. It's in the TV news because it could be a film or a TV adaptation, but everyone's expecting TV, so this is why it ended up here. And plus, the movie news show is much longer, so I felt like
any excuse to shift something over to this one.
So, yeah. So, Imogen Hearn-Guar's lauded historical fantasy, rich in sexual politics and power games, has long been talked about as one of the hottest new UK fiction books of 2018.
Now, this sounds like Game of Thrones.
That's not what they compare it to, I don't think.
I'm just saying that. What was that sexual politics stuff?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like Game of Thrones to me.
Yeah, it was published earlier this year by Vintage, who paid a 6-figure advance for it after a 10 publisher auction. So people were really going for it. So it may be better suited to TV. So they're thinking TV is more likely, but they've not actually said yet. So here's the actual premise of the story. Set in 1785 London, the novel tells the story of Jonah Hancock, a prosperous merchant and widower whose captain returns having sold Hancock's ship and cargo in exchange for an extraordinary creature, a mermaid. This mermaid becomes the subject of great curiosity and forges an encounter between Hancock and the desirable courtesan Angelica Neal. And the book goes on to chart their intertwined lives. I didn't copy this part down. I'm sure one of the parts said it was... Oh no, I'm thinking of something in the movie news. No. There was something in the movie news that was compared to, we want a Twilight-esque thing out of this. And I thought it was this one, but it's not. I'm remembering what the other thing is now. So check that in the movie news this week, folks, if you want to know what that was.
We're dropping teasers for the movie news all over the place.
Apparently we are. So, Joe, it's funny. As I saw this and I went, is this worth putting in before I kind of read what it was? And when I say read, but even before I read the title, I just saw, blah, blah, Playground Entertainment. I don't know who they are. Who are they? I have no idea who that is. This might be something small, and I saw a mermaid and I went, oh, well, Connor's going to want to hear about this. Mermaids.
Do you know what? I'm not particularly interested in it, I'll be honest. And the way I can tell you that is because when you were reading that description, you said the captain sold his ship and all the cargo for the mermaid. And I went, well, how did he get home then? How did he transport the mermaid home without his ship?
Another ship. Not one he owns.
But if he sold out all the cargo and that in exchange for the mermaid, where's he getting the cash to charter a ship home?
He still had money on him to begin with.
Maybe.
He wasn't. He didn't have empty pockets. He still had whatever his funds would have been for the trip on him.
No, potentially. I'm just saying it crossed my mind.
I'm not particularly interested in it either, but that is not my complaint.
Look, it's not really a complaint. I just want to know the logistics.
I feel like you're nitpicking something where I'm sure when they actually show us the pilot, it'll make
perfect sense. Yeah. It will. I'm sure it will. But I'm intrigued in the logistics more than I am anything else in the description.
It's actually worth mentioning that your long anticipated show from Freeform, Siren, is premiered, because it was worth mentioning, we're recording this a day earlier than usual. We're recording this Thursday, so if anything big lands on Friday, don't worry, it'll be in next week's episode. But we've got a Netflix show hitting tomorrow, so we had to free up some time for that.
Yeah.
But Siren's actually premiering, and obviously we were planning on doing it as a joke. However, it's a double episode, so we had we can't fit it in this week. Now we may go back to it later for funds. But if you were anticipating a Siren pilot review, the fact that it's a double episode and it's hitting right as our busy period starts is why it's not happening over this weekend.
I will promise that when we get a quiet period, whenever that may be, we will do the pilot as a joke, if nothing else.
I'm not promising that.
I'll twist his arm.
2 hours of that shit he's trying to put me through.
I'll twist his arm. Don't worry. He'll do it. He'll do it. He's a sucker.
No, right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because the audience traffic for the Siren pilot 2 months after the fact will be a big hit for us.
It's not about audience traffic. It's about delivering, what the audience wants. It's you gotta be, fulfill those wishes.
Yeah, all half dozen people in our audience who care if we do the Siren pilot.
Look, everyone watching this, I don't care if you want to see us do it or not. Just put a comment, tell Peter he's got to do it, and then it will happen.
Yeah, late though. It won't be.
It will be late. It'll be when we get a quiet chance.
It'll probably be like June, honestly.
It may very well be.
Look at how April is. Because, well, that's the thing. May's not got a lot of new things as far as we know yet, but everything that starts in April's still on in May. So.
Yeah, and we haven't had any of the Netflix announcements for May yet.
Oh dear, that's a good point. Oh yeah, I forgot to put that in actually, because again, that was right after last week. Netflix announced a new show for the week after 3%. So 2 weeks in a row we forgot a Netflix show. At least I remembered this time.
Yeah, right at the end of the news, but yeah.
A Danish show called The Rain. It's the following Friday after 3%, so it's like...
It's funny how we didn't talk about this when we were talking about 3%.
I know.
We didn't talk about this when we were talking about all the trailers either.
No. So they put out a trailer, and it's the week, so it's like May 4th, I think, if I'm right in thinking. But it is, we didn't know anything about this. This just came out. Like Netflix just put this trailer up because sometimes Netflix do that. They put a trailer up with a date, and like, I never heard of this until now. But it seems to be a post-apocalyptic Danish series, and
where the rain kills people.
Yeah, and we really could be doing with not having a Netflix show the week after 3% because we won't be finished with that by then. But this looks exactly the sort of thing that we'll want to watch. So somehow we'll be doing that too.
It might end up being awful. Part of me hopes it is.
Oh yeah, if episode 1 sucks, we'll just not do it anymore, and that's fine. But so what's probably going to happen at the end of April or the start of May is that we'll probably start alternating between that and 3% or something, whatever the plan ends up being.
Well, we'll figure it out close to the time. But I just stumbled across it. I've got into the habit of checking Netflix's YouTube page maybe once a week, just because they kind of just sneak things up here or there.
They do. They're sneaky.
And and the problem is they don't tell me if it's a movie or a TV show before I click on it. But I'm like, okay, this looks kind of good, and then it pops up at the end saying all episodes May 4th. I'm God damn it!
Could have been another week. Another week would have been perfect. 2 weeks to do a show from Netflix is what I like. 2 weeks, we can work to that.
Yep.
We can get 10 episodes done in 2 weeks, or if it's less in some cases, but it's 8, then sure, that too.
Yeah.
But damn it. Damn it. Anyway, so I mean, it's a good problem to have. A lot of good content it covers a good problem, so I can't really complain. But busy times. So that does take us on to picking our favourite episode of TV of the week. What we have to pick from, of course, we have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We have the first 2 episodes of The Terror, which we did cover, more on that in a little bit. And we had an episode of Timeless. And that is it so far. Obviously, with all the DC shows, I've not watched any of them yet. But
also, they put it up early online. We covered The Crossing.
Well, yeah. I really should tell them what we did first before we do what our favourite episode of the week is.
Yeah, you really should.
Because I was going to save all that for when I was telling them what went up. But I should probably do that first.
Yeah, that's important for them to know, because it's like, well, that's what we're going to choose from, right?
It makes sense. Look, I said Sollywood earlier. I'm not.
You did.
I'm not like pretending I'm at full speed ahead here. All right.
Yeah.
So The Crossing went up early. They put it out in their streaming services, ABC. So that's a show where a bunch of people, refugees, come from the future, because in the future it's dystopia and they're being hunted by these essentially this master race of super powered people. And that's kind of the premise. So we had episode 1 of that as well. So we got that first episode of The Terror. We got both reviews of that up. That'll be something we're continuing weekly as The Terror. The Crossing not so much, but The Crossing wasn't terrible. It was just we're really busy and it wasn't good enough to keep on.
Yeah, it was perfectly fine. And in a quieter period, we definitely would have given it at least another episode or 2. As it is, not quite good enough.
Yeah, but it's worth checking out. If you're interested in that premise, you should give it a look. It's not bad. So yeah, what are you picking then for this week?
I know it's the easy choice, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for that last like 10, 12 minutes is just phenomenal.
Do you know what the funny thing is I feel like on a more normal week, I might have given it to the Terror.
Yeah, I could see the Terror episode 1 being like considered.
I might have done it, but honestly, the emotional stuff in that last chunk of Shield was just off the charts phenomenal. So,
it's funny because like the first 2/3 of the episode are like, yeah, it's all right. It's a standard Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode, which is still a good episode, but not amazing. And then it just kicks up, and it's like, God damn it, that was fantastic.
Oh yeah, it basically became the best episode of the season.
Yeah,
by the end.
Much.
That's how good it was. So Shield wins, but yeah, Timeless was solid. Terror was solid. Worth checking out. So
it was a pretty good week overall, actually. To be fair.
Yeah. Of course. So all those went up, of course, review-wise this week. Obviously, we mentioned a Netflix show coming starting tomorrow, probably the same day as this goes up by the time this actually goes online. But we have Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events Season 2 kickstarting tomorrow. So we'll be start covering that, give or take one per day. So you can look forward to that. And if you're saying, well, why do you have to get the news done early if you're doing one tomorrow? Because we have to do a couple in advance so that we can actually keep it one per day, because we are really busy at the weekend with multiple podcast recordings.
Yeah, we always know on a Saturday and Sunday there are long form ones where we have kind of to this sort of pretty longer than this, is it? But
I'm really like starting to question our scheduling here. Like surely we should keep Saturdays and Sundays as clear as possible for Netflix stuff. But then
see, this is the problem. The Saturdays
nothing fits anywhere else.
Yeah, the Saturdays is the comics podcast for a reason that.
And that's not just us, that's Matt as well, so that can't move.
It accommodates all of us, plus it gives us time to read the comics that actually come out on a Wednesday.
Exactly.
So, and it's not too late that they're irrelevant.
The TV multiverse with all DC shows, again, we need time to watch them all, and you can't push it any earlier than Friday, because Arrow's on a Thursday.
Best, yeah.
Yeah, so that would just make honestly, Friday more hectic.
If there is a Netflix show, that doesn't really help us anyway.
It doesn't, no. So... yeah, that's why we tend to put the news forward a day when there's a Netflix show starting, so we can use the Friday to try and get ahead an episode or two, so that we actually hit at least our target for the first few days.
But on top of the Netflix stuff, we do have something else next week.
We do. We have another season 2. We have season 2 of Legion starting. That is coming next week. We love season 1. Season 1 was such a nice surprise, and it was kind of thing where Noah Hawley went from being just like, oh yeah, he's good at Fargo, but can he do anything else to, okay, now I pay attention to anything he does, because he has now proven himself multiple times. So, Legion Season 2, super exciting. I will be making sure to look at some sort of recap, I think, of Season 1, because it was very mind-bendy. So, I'm thinking remembering some of the finer details.
Do you know what, you say that? It's pretty memorable, because I can, often a year later, I'm struggling to, but I can still think of all the major beats quite easily, just off the top of my head. I can picture entire scenes towards the end of the series pretty clearly.
Major beats, absolutely. There was one thing in the trailer for Season 2 from the final episode of Season 1 that I went, oh yeah, that happened. Like,
no, that may well be. Yeah. There are, obviously, it's been a year. Things are going to slip my mind, but this is holding up in my memory better than a lot of things.
Oh, it's very memorable. So
the amount that we watch.
So we're very excited about Legion coming back, and that is the first of all the stuff coming back. Well, actually, Series of Unfortunate Events is the first, really, but
we've pretty much got something every week, right?
Yeah, because the week after that, Expanse is back, and then Lost in Space is starting that week. The week after that's got nothing new, although it's still very busy from everything else.
Well, I mean, the Westworld is that Sunday night.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's right. That's the Sunday. The week after that's Handmaid's Tale. So yeah, but we got big things coming every week now.
Yeah,
for a while. So this will be a bit of a gauntlet, but it'll be a gauntlet of high quality content, unless they all end up in disappointing. So please don't do that, shows.
Yeah, that would be cruel.
Because this year has been disappointing in terms of new shows so far. So.
And even things that have returned, things that we liked season 1, like Jessica Jones. Was really disappointing.
Yeah. So this is the time for everything to like pick up. This is the time. They basically gave us all. I mean, as much as it's a pain to schedule all these reviews when they're all on at the same time, it's going to be like an adrenaline shot of just like I'll tell you this right now. See, when we get to like July and they've all ended, we're going to feel like empty. There's going to be nothing to replace them with.
They'll find something.
And that's, of course, when Netflix decide to stop putting things out we care about for an extended period of time.
Pretty much, because it's been pretty consistent every 2 to 3 weeks.
It really has. And to be fair, though, that Danish show, The Rain, like that came out of nowhere, so there's a potential for that to happen as well.
Netflix have, well and truly earned my subscription for a very, very long time to come.
Oh, it's been a long time since I've not been at least watching one new original show from them a month.
There was a point where it was kind of, they were just, before they were really doing a lot of original content, it was kind of just, the Marvel shows, House of Cards, Orange is the New Black. I was questioning, do you know what, do I really need Netflix?
Do you know what the funny thing is that we're at a point now where we have decided we're not doing any more Marvel Netflix shows, and it's still, like, because there was a time when that was the key selling point, is like, oh, there's like 2 of them a year, so that's like, 2 months already covered subscription-wise. But now it's at the point where, no. We can not do them. I don't want to watch any more of them, and there's still tons of other things that I care about.
It's funny because I remember it was obviously a long time ago now. We had a conversation where, because you don't use Netflix to watch a lot of other stuff, right? You typically these days just watch their originals for the most part.
For the most part, there's the odd thing if it happens to be on Netflix and I want to see it, I'll watch it there. But that's about it.
Right, and I remember a couple of years ago, I think you were either you had let your subscription lapsed or you were going to, and we were working out like, all right, is it worth keeping it? How often are you going to be using it? You were like, okay, so there's a Marvel thing here and here. Okay, is it even worth it, or do I just get it for a month when they've got a thing? The fact that we actually had that conversation kind of baffles me.
Oh yeah, no, that's not even a consideration. I think, basically since I want to say early last year, I've like.
Unfortunate Events was last January. Right?
It was. No, I already had. I think I've had it consistently since like maybe mid 2016. I think that was the last time it expired for a little bit. Maybe even early 2016. But like I know how much I care because I remember when Mystery Science Theater came on last year, and there was like a problem with the card or whatever, the payment lapsed, and I didn't even realize it was that day. Like I went to watch Mystery Science Theater, and it said, "Oh, check your payment settings, something's not working." I'm like, damn it, what's happening? And I had to go and fix it, and I fixed it in 2 minutes, but it was like, no,
I can't go without my Netflix.
I can't go without Netflix. What are you doing to me? No. So yeah, it's shifted considerably. Whereas Amazon, funnily enough, is in the place where Netflix used to be, where there's a couple of things I care about on it, but it's mostly, I probably could drop Amazon for months at a time right now.
No, Amazon swings by because I pay for the yearly subscription, because I order, other stuff off Amazon. I have an Amazon tablet, so I'm just in the ecosystem, so I don't have to think about it. But if it was based on just the video, it would be in a very similar place.
Yeah, but they got stuff coming. They got Refn coming, so we'll
Oh yeah. Once that comes, that's it. Money.
So but yeah, that was a bit of a tangent at the end. The point being, a lot of big TV hitting over the next month, starting tomorrow with Unfortunate Events, and then Legion, and then Lost in Space, Expanse, Westworld, Handmaid's Tale.
It's going to be a good month, folks.
And 3%. Yeah, we are going to be super busy, but every single thing. Lost in Space could end up not being that good. That's the one thing that's unproven, but everything else is like, we're excited about all of them. So
yeah, be prepared for just consistent uploads on this channel. There always is anyway, but even more.
Yes, and as always, if anything goes up late, it's Connor's fault. Direct your complaints at Connor Ryan at 94 over on his Twitter.
Do you know what? I'm not even going to complain, because like 95% of the time it probably is my fault.
Oh, it is.
There's the occasional time you've.
Do you know what I love though? I love that in the rare occasion it is my fault we're late on something, you can't say shit. You can't say shit to me. I do like to mention it just so people know that this is one of those times that it wasn't me. But they don't believe you. They have no reason to believe you.
They might believe me because it doesn't happen that often. But more importantly, they're like, yeah, but it doesn't really mean anything, does it?
Oh dear. So hopefully you're all excited for the TV coming up, and we can have an exciting couple of months of big TV. So that is us. So let us know what you thought of the news this week in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. You can do that over there. There's a link in the description, but otherwise that is us. So thank you once again for watching. Keep watching TV. Have you got any vanilla?